Oh my gosh. This beast is my second statue from House of Gog. This is Jaak the Giant Hunter, based on the artwork of illustrator Pascal Blanché. Let's open this up and check it out. Alright, so if this is anything like my Moonstone statue, the coffin actually has 2 layers to it. We're gonna get all our parts laid out and then we'll put it together in a minute. Oh my gosh. This rifle is huge! Holy crap, it's huge. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Look at the size of this. Awesome. I mean, it is gigantic. Look at that. I can tell already it's going to have a major presence on display because that thing is big. Wow. That is jumbo. Worth noting that like my Moonstone statue, you know, the sphere itself is resin, and then there's this like flexible, it's like a soft resin or maybe a vinyl, but it blends right in. You'd never know. And it's a good hybrid. Like, rather than making this whole thing some weird flexible material, they did just the parts that needed it, which I dig. Oh my gosh. So here's Jaak's rifle. Again, it's just so much bigger than I was expecting. Okay. Oh, I missed a piece of tape. Just when you think you've got it all. All right, let's see what we've got here. I feel like I can breathe now. The box was so big, it was like covering my face. All right, so second layer of our styrofoam coffin. This is Jaak's body. It's great. It looks really good. You know, one thing I'll say about this, Derelict Planets line of statues is that with the palette and the limited palette and the high contrast look they're going for, your eye goes right to like the texture and the sculpt work because there's less paintwork to pay attention to. And they've really delivered. And there's our base. This base looks great. Right down to the texture. There's like the sandy texture cast into it. And then, oh, yes. So after I displayed my Moonstone statue, I realized that like having these little display pillars was absolutely awesome for being able to display my spare parts in my office in a way that looked cool. And I'm glad they included another one with this statue. Okay. Oh, this is the swap out head with that big, like, Japanese-inspired crazy hat. Okay, is that it? Okay, that's it. Let's put this away, lay out our parts, and we'll put this thing together. All of our parts are laid out. Everything looks great. Instructions look very on point. I knew this, but it didn't totally register with me until I saw it in person, that the swap outs for this statue make it feel like a completely different piece, which is just incredible. The Blade Master version has like this big spear and then this, I think it's called a Casa hat. Is that right? Yeah, Casa hat. Anyway, we have all of our parts. We're going to start putting this together. Those of you who watched my Moonstone unboxing will be happy to know that I got out my other turntable, which doesn't make that horrible crunching sound that probably made you really annoyed the last unboxing you watched. Okay, so first up we have our base. The detail here is incredible and it'll come across in the close-up shots, I think, pretty good. And then there's the body. So we're going to start with, if I actually follow the instructions, we should be starting with the body. So we'll pop that in. It's got a peg in one foot and then a magnet in the other. Damn, just like the Moonstone statue, the fitment is so good on that. When you're dealing with a peg in one foot, shit tends to get real weird, and sometimes fitment is downright bad. This feels like there's like a beautiful attention to detail. Sorry, I'm on a tangent about pegs and magnets. That's not what you guys came here to see. I was going to put our head on, but we actually have to do the rifle first. So the rifle has these really cool little cutout deals here. These pop in. The rifle has a magnet. Oh, check this out. I love shit like this. I know it's so nerdy. There's a magnet on the back of the rifle, kind of hidden in the sculpt. There's another magnet on the butt that it pairs up with. You have these little latches on the strap, so when you drop the strap in, straps on, and then the rifle clips right there. I'm like super impressed that it's that well fit. To be honest, that's like one of my biggest takeaways with these. Like obviously House of Gog really has their act together on like the fitment part of this story. It's great. There's the head. Connect our hose. This is that flexible resin, kind of like the hoses on Moonstone's base. We have this gigantic spear. I mean, look at the size of this thing. It's ridiculous. This is the normal like giant hunter version of Jaak, and then there's the swap out. So why don't we just go ahead and take a look at the swap out now, just so you guys can get a look at it. So, okay, so obviously you see the statue in this configuration. Look at how it totally transforms when we use these other parts. So we'll disconnect the hose gently, take off our head, take off our rifle, put the magnet in the back. We'll put on our, I think this is technically called the spear. Look at the scale of that. I mean, it's baller. I love it. All right, there's our head. This is the Blade Master version. And we'll reconnect the hose. I'm going to fix the spear here. His hand actually rests behind. Now we're in business. I mean, it looks incredible. Usually when there's a swap out, I kind of know which one I'm going to display the statue with and which one is going to kind of stay in the box or stay out of sight. This is the first time in a long time that I'm really torn. Like both of these versions. I mean, it feels like a different statue. It makes me wish I had two bodies and two bases so that I could display both, because they're so different. So, okay, here's the last thing we haven't talked about. Besides including this base here, besides including this to display your head swap out, they also, which is similar to the Moonstone one, if you watch my unboxing of the other House of Gog statue. So this is cool, but they also included this awesome little display base. Check this out. That is pretty cool. It's huge. So say you're not using one of these setups, you have this big, gigantic, awesome looking display you can mess with. I mean, just massive presence. To go down a little bit of a rabbit hole when it comes to statues, one of the things that tends to make or break a statue is like the presence and the proportions, right? So like how big this spear is like totally changes what it feels like when you're looking at it in person. Like it changes the dynamic completely. And they were smart enough to make sure that they included swap outs for the Moonstone statue I have and for Jaak, that give you options. If your display space is tighter, then like you have an option to use the smaller pieces and build it out. I'm going to swap this back to the other head and the other weapon really quick here. So I don't know if it really comes across on camera, but the colors, when you see it in person, that was one of my biggest questions. I'm like, I don't know, is this palette, in Pascal Blanché's illustrations, the palette looks really cool, but I'm like, is it going to work like in person? And I got to tell you, it totally works. And I don't know if it comes across on camera, but for sure in person, the limited color palette is really great. As I've been tinkering with different changeouts and looking at things, the only part of the paint job I'm not 100% on is the highlight on the top of the Casa hat. It just feels like this fade is a little short. I mean, it still works. You look at it in person, like in context when you do the change out, and it still totally works. The rest of the paint I'm like blown away by. I think the effect is really cool. This is the only one I'm not totally 100% on, but it's a minor complaint, right? Compared to everything else. And there it is, guys. House of Gog's Jaak the Giant Hunter, based on illustration work from Pascal Blanché. It looks really good. I really like this statue. Those bold colors look so good. I'm very, very torn on what setup, what changeouts I'm going to display him with, because they both look good. Gonna have to see. thank you so much for watching. This is another win from House of Gog. Now that I have 2 of these, I feel like I'm going to have to stay tuned and see if they come out with any other pieces in this like derelict planet line. Honestly, this is the first company in a while that I felt was doing something really unique. They've got this kick-ass new school style, and this thing did not disappoint. The paperwork, even the flippin' instructions are rock solid. And then obviously, you heard me talk about this in the other review, the art print that comes with the statues is pretty nice. Print quality solid, it's cool. I may even frame these to display with them, we'll see. Either way, I love these things, and I'm definitely gonna be keeping an eye on what they do next. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you next time. Later. Bye.